When you hear the term uric acid, most of us probably think it's just some kind of waste product, right? Maybe you connect it to a really painful condition called gout. But what if I told you it's one of the most misunderstood molecules in our bodies, that it's actually a master regulator of our metabolism, and it's silently pulling the strings on our risk for heart disease, diabetes, and, well, a whole lot more.
Welcome to Value Vest Daily, where we analyze various hot topics related to health, food, and lifestyle. Today, we're going deep on the science of uric acid, because it just might be the missing link in so many of our modern health problems.
So, let me ask you this. What if just one single molecule was the hidden thread connecting the absolute agony of a gout attack, the silent danger of heart disease, and even the throbbing misery of a migraine? I know, it sounds a little like science fiction, but the evidence is piling up, and it's all pointing directly at uric acid.
So here's the thing about uric acid. It's not actually evil. It's more like a double agent. See, in the right amounts, it's a fantastic antioxidant. It's like a bodyguard for your cells, neutralizing up to 60% of the damaging free radicals in your blood. But, and this is a big but, when that balance gets thrown off, it completely flips the script. It turns into a villain, forming these sharp, needle-like crystals that trigger massive inflammation and just wreak havoc inside our bodies.
This dangerous turning point has a name. It's called hyperuricemia, and all that means is you have too much uric acid in your blood. The magic number seems to be around 7 milligrams per deciliter. Once you go above that, your blood gets saturated. Think of it like this. You're stirring salt into a glass of water. It dissolves for a while, but eventually you add too much and it just starts piling up at the bottom, right? That is exactly what's happening in our blood.
So the big question is, how do we get to this point? What's causing this dangerous overload? For a long time, we thought we knew the answer. But it turns out we were missing a huge piece of the puzzle.
Okay, let's start with the classic story, the one you've probably heard before, the purine problem. Purines are just natural compounds. They're in our own DNA, and they're in certain foods. And when our bodies break down old cells or digest foods that are rich in purines, think red meat or some seafood, the byproduct is uric acid. Now, this pathway is real, for sure, but it's not the main story for most of us anymore.
The bigger issue, the real modern-day culprit, is what we can call the fructose trap. Yeah, it's not just about purines. The sugar, fructose, is now understood to be the #1 driver of high uric acid for millions of people.
So here's how this trap works. When we drink something with a lot of fructose, like a soda or even a fruit juice, it hits the liver all at once. The liver's response? It directly converts that fructose into uric acid. And that spike in uric acid flips an ancient survival switch in our bodies. I mean, think about it. For our ancestors, finding a bunch of ripe fruit meant winter was coming, a time when food would be scarce. So high uric acid was a brilliant signal to the body. Hey, start storing fat, raise blood sugar, and conserve energy. It was a fantastic survival tool back then. But now, we're flipping that switch all day, every day, 365 days a year, and it's creating a metabolic disaster.
Now, the most famous result of all these crystals forming is, of course, gout. It is an unbelievably painful kind of arthritis. It usually hits the big toe, and people who've had it say it feels like their joint is literally on fire. That's your immune system just launching an all-out war against those uric acid crystals.
But here's the kicker. Thinking that uric acid only causes gout is like looking at the tip of an iceberg. You're completely missing the massive, dangerous part that's hidden just below the surface. The damage goes way beyond just one painful joint.
So let's start with the big one, your heart. The connection between high levels of uric acid and cardiovascular disease isn't just a theory anymore. It's real, and it's incredibly serious.
The numbers here are just stark. Study after study shows that people with hyperuricemia have a 25% higher risk of having a heart attack. Let that sink in. This isn't a minor thing. It's a major risk factor we absolutely have to start paying attention to.
So how in the world does it do all that damage? Well, you can think of uric acid acting like sandpaper on the inside of your blood vessels. It just fuels inflammation, and it causes something called endothelial dysfunction, which is basically the very first step toward hardened arteries. It also directly pushes up your blood pressure and drives that insulin resistance that sits at the very heart of so many of our modern metabolic diseases.
And the cascade of damage doesn't stop with the heart, not by a long shot. High uric acid is a central character in this whole web of other conditions, creating widespread chaos throughout the body.
Let's just run through some of these surprising connections.
Kidney stones? Up to a quarter of people with high uric acid get them. We already talked about how it pushes you towards type 2 diabetes by messing with your insulin. The migraine link is also pretty stunning. Having gout has been shown to literally double your chances of suffering from them. And even something like frozen shoulder is connected because that chronic low-grade inflammation can cause the entire joint to stiffen up.
And look, you don't just have to take my word for it. To bring this all home, neurologist Dr. David Perlmutter puts it perfectly. He says the biggest threat, the main culprit hiding in plain sight, is the sugar, fructose. And that one insight just completely changes the game on how we should approach this.
Okay, let's look at the usual suspects. This table shows the purine load in different foods. And yeah, you can see organ meats like liver are way up there at the top. Certain seafood like sardines are pretty high too. Red meat's in the middle, and beer adds to the problem because of its yeast. But, and please remember this, the fructose in your soda or sweet tea is causing your body to make its own uric acid from scratch, completely bypassing this list.
So, if you really want to lower your risk, you gotta target the biggest offenders. And right at the top of that list, number one with a bullet, are sodas and sweetened juices. Then come the classic high purine foods, the organ meats, certain types of seafood, and of course, alcohol, especially beer.
Okay, so that's all the bad news. But the really good news is you can absolutely take control of this. Here's a super simple 3-step action plan. Number 1, hydrate relentlessly. I mean it. Drinking 2 to 3 liters of water every single day is crucial to help your kidneys do their job and flush the stuff out. Second, choose smart foods. Just focus on a diet that's low in both purines and fructose. And third, move your body. Regular exercise is such a powerful tool for getting your metabolic health back on track.
And hey, it's not all about taking things away. Let's talk about what you can add to your plate. Cherries are an absolute superstar here. Some studies show they can cut the risk of a gout attack in half. Foods rich in vitamin C, like berries and citrus fruits, actually help your body get rid of uric acid. Most veggies, low-fat dairy, whole grains, these are all your friends in this fight. And these aren't just wishy-washy suggestions. They have a real, measurable impact. I mean, just look at this. A little bit of vitamin C every day can lower your levels. Losing just 5 to 10% of your body weight can cause a dramatic drop. We're talking 1 to 2 full points. And just drinking enough water gives your kidneys all the support they need. These simple changes are powerful stuff.
At the end of the day, your uric acid level isn't some fixed destiny that you're stuck with. It's a dial. It's a dial that you have the power to turn down with your everyday choices. The science is crystal clear. So the only real question left is, are you ready to take charge?
Now, of course, please remember that this explainer is for informational purposes only. It is not medical advice. You should always talk to a healthcare professional about any personal health concerns you have or before you make any big changes to your diet or lifestyle.
If you found this helpful, please subscribe, like, and share ValueVest Daily to help spread awareness on these life-changing topics that cover your health and happiness. And hey, one more thing. If you want us to do a deep dive into any specific topic, please drop it in the comments below. We read them all and would love to hear from you.